You know what time it is. It's your favorite social media coach, Melle Howard. Coach Melle in the building with your favorite cool uncle, Uncle Flood, and they're going to take you inside the game. So sit down, relax, get your favorite beverage, and hang as they take you across the SWAT, especially in Southern University football and professional sports as they talk Monday Night Football here on Inside the Game. All right, let's get into it.
Good morning, Unc. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Unc. How are you?
Come on home to me, Charlie.
This man has been speaking to Charlene for the last 30 minutes while we're on the pre-show.
That's right.
What are you going through, Charlene?
I'm just Charlene. Charlene just putting me through it right now.
Listen, I think we all need to be singing Charlene, Move On Out the Way, or whatever it is, because there's a lot of things happening in the world of football and
the blues is appropriate in I can't think of what's her name, Kiana Linnell. She has a song called Baton Rouge. It's a bluesy jazz song called Baton Rouge that she wrote like back in 2016, 2017, maybe 2018. Probably have to see if we could find that somewhere, but I think that's the appropriate mood for Baton Rouge right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here for another edition of Inside the Game with Coach Melle and Uncle Flood. We have a lot to talk about as always. We have a lot to talk about as it relates to our football team. But before we even get into breaking down the Southern University situation in our pros game, today's breaking news comes from the other side of Baton Rouge.
Yes.
As Brian Kelly has been relieved of his duties at Louisiana State University, and there's an interim coach in place. And he has a buyout of $833,000 a month until he gets another job or takes on another responsibility. First of all, I have so many questions. A, do you believe that it was time for Brian Kelly to go? That's my first point of conversation.
For all rights and purposes, if LSU thought it was time for him to go, it was time for him to go. Because I just felt like the players didn't buy into Brian Kelly. They tried it. They were in desperation mode. They went and tried to buy a team this year, and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think the players didn't buy into Brian Kelly. And for whatever people say about this NIL era, chemistry still matters.
Yeah.
Buy-in from the players still matter because teams take on, and I believe in this, teams take on the personality of their coach. They take on the personality of their leader. And I believe that team, Brian Kelly is not from all reports, Brian Kelly is not a good guy. And that team was not a good team.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse of his personality after the Florida game and his stat with the media people. But yeah, listen, my dream is to be a fired coach from a D1 program because I can't imagine collecting a check for $833,000 a month to sit down and look at you. I would go buy the best seat in Tiger Stadium and every other stadium.
Ed Ogeron had the best answer to that when he talked about his buyout. When they told him how much his buyout was, he was like, "Which door do I leave from?"
But I do wonder. It begs to wonder the question around like the structuring these contracts. It's like, what? Like it's wild. That's a wild.
Well, one of the things is there's one guy who controls all of the major coaches in college football. That's why his name is Jimmy Sexton. He's the agent for Nick Saban, Brian Kelly, all of the big time coaches in college football. Mm-hmm. So he is their agent. So you can't get a big time coach in college football if you are a Power 5 school without going through Jimmy Sexton. So Jimmy Sexton, all of these contracts with these big guarantees have been negotiated by him, and he negotiates that for his clients because he knows he can hold a monopoly. And pretty much he holds the monopoly on it. I wouldn't call it a monopoly is strong. It's not a monopoly because there are other agents out there. But in terms of the big time coaches, mm-hmm. he's the representative. and he negotiates these great deals, and other coaches are not going to go against him because they all want to be his client because he negotiates these great deals. So if you're a big time school, you basically have to work with that man and give that man what he wants for his clients to be available to you.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up, and I'm gonna drop this in the chat. I just pulled up a link of like all of his major clients, and if you think about the names that they'll call, well, don't just say this.
The man controls the SEC for sure.
Kirby Smart, Kellen DeBoer, who was the coach who replaced Nick Saban
at Alabama. Yep.
Yeah, Alabama. Lane Kiffin, and these are all of the names that you consistently hear as we think about just even this upcoming cycle of coaching.
That's right.
It's wild to know that one man has such a, and to your point, monopoly is probably the right word to use, because I'm always.
You're looking at that list like, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking at this list like,
hey, I told you, almost every major coach in the major Division I conferences is represented by Jimmy Sexton.
Man, that is wild to think and wild to know and I'm trying to get the stream back going up because I've lost my stream looking up Jimmy Sexton's all of his things. But yeah, that's interesting to know. So what LSU is looking for a coach. When you think about LSU, and I know we have our own fish to fry, but when you think about LSU and the future of the program, what comes to mind as it relates to the next coach of the LSU Tigers?
Rhett Lashley, the coach at SMU. But that if I'm LSU, I'm not. Do not stop. Do not pass go. I'm going to get Rhett Lashley, and I'm bringing him to LSU. 42-year-old offensive dynamo took SMU from where they were to where they are now, competing for ACC championships. A guy who's from Arkansas, Gus Malzahn, was his high school football coach. He was a quarterback for Gus Malzahn in Arkansas, in Arkansas High School in Springdale, Arkansas, one of those towns. He was Gus Malzahn's quarterback. He's 42 years old. He's at SMU. No brainer. Go get him, LSU. He's competed on a high level. He's shown he can win. He can recruit his butt off. He brings in the Dallas and the Texas area. And in Louisiana, he ain't gonna come in and put a fence around Louisiana ball game, wrap it up. I don't know. I should have charged LSU for that bit of information, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, that's always interesting because people always have that conversation. Especially, I'm reading some of the blogs now about Florida's coach, because Billy Napier, the SEC is going to be a high commodity this cycle. But Billy Napier coming from UL, going to LSU, and there's this whole thread of people talking about what time is the right time to make the jump, who was the right person to make the jump, what does that look like, what are the criteria, how do you decide? I mean, I just think it's a risky move, no matter who. Like, it's literally risky from levels to levels. It's a risky move, so it will be interesting to see.
It's all about fit, though.
Yeah,
like Billy Napier should have been the head coach at LSU, but LSU would never hire a guy from ULL.
Yeah,
they never would make that decision. Florida was not the right fit for Billy Napier.
Yep, I agree 100%. I definitely thought LSU was gonna get. I think that would have been a great.
He was already recruiting the state of Louisiana. He had a great reputation. People loved him. He could have moved to LSU and really put a fence around LSU in his NIL era. He could have done some things, and he would have been a great fit at LSU. That's my belief. I don't think Florida was the right place for him, and I don't think Billy.
It was one of those things where, like, for both situations, I mean, obviously Billy chose to take an opportunity and to take a chance on himself.
You have to.
I think you have to as a coach in any career, like from wherever you are in your career, taking a chance on yourself. I think is something that we should all do. But it was one of those things that, like, when people like sometimes leave a company and go to a better job because they're making more money, but they realize just like their level of happiness, their level of fit, their level of understanding and excitement about being at a job, it's like, I need to go back where I came from. And I think that was a marriage that was working in more ways than one. And I think Billy yeah, if he could go back and be successful, I think he could do that.
Yes, I think Billy might want to take, but the second time around is never as good as the first. When you spin the block, it's never as good as the first time because all the toxic traits already, and the triggers.
Yeah.
So it's never as good when you spin the block. Although spinning the block is not always bad, but it's not always good either.
It's not always good. It's not always bad, and it can be correlated to so many things.
Yes,
we all have a spin the block story that worked out. And
yes,
a block story that
kind
of went left.
And I got some spin the block story that's a mixed bag. Sometimes
mixed bag.
1 week is working, the next week,
This is not what I thought it would be. And so now we think about the major college coaching jobs that are open right now. We have LSU, Arkansas, Penn State, and the University of Florida. If you were a coach and you could name or pick a cap, which institution would you be headed to?
Oh, let's see. Penn State, LSU,
Arkansas, and Florida.
Arkansas. Man, I would go to Arkansas and then Penn State. Those would be my first two choices. You know why I would go to Arkansas? Because the bar is low at Arkansas, baby.
Yeah.
And I have this idea of Arkansas, and this is another idea I'm going to give away for free. Arkansas really should be the Oregon of the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more.
You have a ton of money in Arkansas. You got the Tyson Chicken money. You got the Jerry Jones money. You got Walmart money. Walmart splits that money between the University of Missouri and the University of Arkansas. So you got big money in Arkansas.
You do.
It's a difficult location to get to now. And Arkansas is not a hotbed of high school football, but it has some good high school football, a lot like Oregon. But if you put that money you have, man, I would have 6 or 7 different uniform combinations. Whatever school, whatever apparel company we use, we'd have 6 or 7, 12 different shoes, 4 or 5 different helmets. And I would just go out and take that money and I would go recruit the best players that I could get in Arkansas. I would go to North Louisiana. This is what Arkansas used to do. They go get the best players from Northern Louisiana. They go get some players from Texas, some players from Mississippi. All of these football playing states, I go get the 3 stars, bring them in, put them on my NIL development program, and all of a sudden Arkansas has become the Oregon of the Southwest, of the Southeastern Conference, and you make Arkansas as comfortable as you can. You make that school, because the school is not in a great place. It's not in a great location. It's not in Little Rock or anywhere like that. It's like you literally have to fly over a mountain and down a hill to get to Arkansas, like for real, to get there. So it's remote, but it's a nice city. So you can sell the city, but I would put all the amenities that I could put in there, make it so this is their town. We're gonna have everything that you need right here for you, Arkansas. And we're going to have us a good time. We're going to play some good football, baby. And we're going to dress you in the finest of gear. I would go sign me a Jordan contract or something, a big Jordan contract. And we would have all the gear, all the helmets, everything you could imagine. We'd be eating all of the Tyson products, all the Tyson chicken and turkey. And we'd have Walmart gift cards out the wazoo. Soon as any electronics came out, whether it be TVs, game, anything, they would be getting it. That's what I would do at Arkansas, and I promise you would develop a contender right there. But Arkansas and Penn State would be the 2 jobs.
Yeah, I think that Arkansas job is a very compelling job, and I saw what they did with Calipari in basketball, and how they were able to just give him a free bank. And to your point, the bar has not. I mean, they've had success, pockets of success, but the bar of just consistency that you need to build there is one that I think is good, because the coaches everybody is talking about being the hottest coach out there that everybody wants to take a stab at is Lane Kiffin. And so we'll see. He basically
Jimmy Sexton gonna break the bank with Lane Kiffin.
He is going to break the bank.
He just gonna play musical chairs with the coaches that he represents. He's gonna put Lane Kiffin in. Okay, Ole Miss, what are y'all gonna do with Lane? Okay, you can't go anymore. Can't give Lane any more money. Florida, how much you gonna offer Lane? Okay, Lane, this is what Florida is offering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lane is leaving Florida. Okay, so Rhett, what do you let's see, it's time for you to move. You want to move to the SEC? This is what Ole Miss is going to offer. This is what Arkansas is going to offer. Now, Arkansas is your home school. Everybody assumes Rhett Lashlee's going to be the next head coach at Arkansas. Okay, Rhett. So what do we? So Jimmy Sexton is basically like a stockbroker now. He's just playing the musical chairs, moving his coaches around to see Ellis. All I'm gonna say about LSU is, don't be the odd man out. Because right now you're not looking like the best job in America. Your fans are spoiled. They have their expectations are way too high. Like people talk about the golden era of LSU football. Dude, y'all have 4 national championships since 1958. There is no such thing as a golden era of LSU football. I hate to break it to you.
Well, that's one of the things that I think as I was like reading up on all these like different contract things and all of these things that like was mind-boggling to me was to your point about the expectations of like fans and alum and supporters and boosters and all these things. Because when I was like, we talked about him a little bit on what James Franklin was able to do at Penn State. It's like, bro, y'all have never saw any level of like true consistency with football. And so to have these, but it's like, that's the world we live in.
Yes, since Joe Paul was there, Joe Paul. But I mean, let's just bring it back home to Southern. While we've had some terrible coaches, some of our expectations are outsized for what we are.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Like some of our expectations of coaches are a little outsized for what we are as a program. Like, when I see people on here saying, "Oh, we should go get this guy. He's an assistant at the University of Florida. I'm like, do you realize that man is making $650,000 to be a running backs coach? So you saying we should double out what we normally pay to go get a guy who's never been a head coach before?
Yeah, and you have to find a special person, a special breed of person to take such a step like down from a fine. And I'm not even talking about for a programmatic thing, because some people like just, it is what it is. But from a financial standpoint, that's basically 50% of your family's budget, of the lifestyle that you live. You have to truly, really want to be in a place to take that kind of thing.
I keep telling them, all them ugly dudes that coach that got them pretty wives, they ain't got them by taking no job cuts, man. Look at some of them dudes, man. Them dudes, they have way outkicked their coverage when it comes to their women. And that's because they make a lot of money. Let's be real. Come on now. And they ain't about to, hey.
This man.
Dawson Odom said it best, man. One time he told a group of us, he said, man, I know I can recruit. He said, look at me and look at my wife. Ain't no way that woman would have married me looking like I look if I couldn't recruit. So he said that. He said that, not me. But I'm just saying, them dudes, look at some of them dudes, man. They got pretty wives and families. They didn't get that because they are great guys. They got that because they make a lot of money and they want to maintain their lifestyles. They never have to be head coaches. Like it used to be at the HBCUs were the only place where a black guy was going to be the head coach. They don't care about that anymore. If I can be the receivers coach at some big school and make $650,000, $700,000 a year to be the receivers coach, you know what? When I hit 60, 65, okay, I made enough money. Now I consider being a head coach at a smaller school just to say I was a head coach. And by that time, we don't want them because they're too damn old.
Yeah. That's true. And I think that that's part of the conversation in this whole coaching cycle is that you've seen over the commentary of the last few weeks is like, oh, Nick Saban. Nick Saban is 74 years old. Part of the reason Nick Saban
74 Friday.
He will be 74 Friday. Part of the reason he left the game was because of the evolution of the game. Nick Saban has his glory days and his glory roads. Nick Saban's not coming. So all of you LSU campaigning for Nick people, stop it. Nick Saban will not be returning back. I would be utterly shocked if Nick Saban was.
I wish somebody would hire Tyrann Mathieu because they tried to give Tyrann Mathieu to us. Now LSU, now the people trying to give him to LSU. I was like, Tyrann, somebody please hire Tyrann Mathieu. Alcorn, that's where his family ties at. Alcorn, y'all should hire Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I saw a heavy campaign for Tyrann Mathieu too.
Alcorn, y'all should hire. That's where his family ties are. That's where his dad played at. Alcorn, that would be a great move for y'all. Y'all should hire Tyrann Mathieu.
And speaking of coaches, and we'll get to our game breakdown shortly, but speaking of coaching cycle, one of the other things of the conversations was about the risk you take when you're hiring a coach who hasn't necessarily had collegiate experience or has coming into the ranks from like the high school era or consistency. What are your thoughts about?
High school coach, man, there is such a dramatic change from high school to college coaching, and especially Division I college coaching. And I've come to realize people on social media, they're fans. They think a lot of times they think they know, but a lot of them don't. They don't realize what they don't know. But no, transitioning from high school coach, especially a high school coach with no previous college experience, is virtually impossible, especially in football. It doesn't work really in any sport, but especially in football, because you go from being responsible for high school kids who, for the most part, are going to listen to what you say and have to be in school. They have to go to class. You know what I'm saying? To being in charge of a bunch of young adults who you have to pass the compliance test. You have to be certified by the NCAA. That's just to start off. Then you're not even talking about dealing with the young people, because you're not dealing with 14, 15, 16-year-olds anymore. You're dealing with young men, 18, 19, 20-year-old men, with all the things that come with it. It is a really, really steep transition that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge, that it's bigger than just on the field X's and O's. Because what people don't really realize is that pretty much from high school all the way through the NFL, football is not that very different in terms of the plays. It's a little bit more intricate as you move up. There's a little bit more detailed, but it's not, the basics of it is not the same. So X's and O's is not the problem, but recruiting is a problem, because if it's a kid outside of Baton Rouge, then if you go and recruit a kid out of New Orleans and you're a high school coach in Baton Rouge, and that kid out of New Orleans is going to be like, what are you talking about? Why would I want to come play with you? I just talked to John Summerall. I just talked to this coach or that coach. Why would I would come play for the coach who coached the high school team to a couple of championships out of Baton Rouge? Only thing I remember about you is that we kicked the hell out of y'all when we played y'all in the Dome. So no, it's not realistic, but I get it. People have their favorites. They like certain people. And for those people think, well, it's just coaching. Coaching can transfer. No, it doesn't. Not from high school to college. Not even from JUCO to Division I.
Yeah, so I think I have a difference of opinion on that particular issue when it comes to like the transition of it. I think that there are barriers. I think that there are, like that you named, some very extensive barriers to make the transition. I just am not under the impression that it's impossible, but I do believe that it has to be, to your point about fit earlier, a place that is going to give you the necessary supports to be successful when you're coming and making that transition. And I don't know, in many cases, if that has been the situation for not just Southern, but for a lot of institutions that understand what does it mean to support someone to be successful. So I don't think that it's impossible. I think that it can be done, but the levels of supports that you have to are needed are like institutionalized. And I don't know if anybody has mastered how to set a person up for success, as opposed to just throwing them into a pond and saying, go swim. So, So I think it's possible.
And a bigger thing, and another thing, not a bigger thing, but one other thing on that is selling that to the fan base. Like, how do you sell that to the fan base? Like, this is not 1992. This is not 1988. We are not going to hire Gerald Nimble Kimball. All right. We are not going back to 1979 or 1980, 81 and hiring Otis Washington. Like, that's not and I'll put it like this. It's even more unlikely for a high school coach transitioning to college to be successful today than it was 40 years ago. It was easier 40 years ago. Otis Washington, and I know some of y'all don't know who Otis Washington is, but Otis Washington used to be the head coach at St. Augustine High School. he won St. Augustine's only state championship. And I know, bless my friends from St. Augustine, because if you let them tell it, they have been a perennial power for the last 50 years. But I'll tell you the truth. They only won one state championship in the school's history, and that was under Otis Washington. But Otis Washington then went and left St. Augustine because LSU wanted one particular player from St. Augustine. Otis Washington as a consultant, and then the next year Otis Washington got the job at Southern.
Yeah, I mean,
that year he was 3-8. They went into the Bayou Classic with 2 wins.
Sounds familiar. Sounds actually too familiar.
Yes.
And speaking of, I think that is perfect to the transition. But we were supposed to have a guest today, an opportunity to kind of walk us through that. It's ourselves on the losing end again this season. Final score: Florida A&M 43, Southern University 35. Before I get into the game breakdown, FAMU alumni, keep me out of your group messages. Out of your alumni group messages.
I didn't know. I was just gonna let you lead because your aunt could crash out. So I didn't know how you wanted to handle it. Do I need to what I need to do? Because I'm from a different generation, but I try to adapt and I try to make adjustments. Like, I'm not from a place where you just take my picture and slap it up and then and just say what you want to say and you think that's gonna be okay. I'm just not from. I had to get somebody straight from Southern on that early on in the game. You just don't. And if I know who you are, I'm coming to see you. Like, if you take my picture and then post it somewhere and I know who you are, I'm coming to see you. Like, for real. That's something I don't play about, like image and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't play about that kind of stuff. So just beware, because people can snap your picture. Obviously, whoever snapped that picture snapped it from a distance.
Yeah, no, well, they snapped it from TV, so that was
from the TV. That's right.
TV that was scrapped. Hey, that the snapping of the picture doesn't bother me. Listen, that's the price you pay to be Coach Melle, I guess. But also, it was and really most of the commentary in the group message were very playful.
It was one comment I didn't like, but I let it go.
And I addressed him privately, and some FAMU alumni also addressed, and that was like, so that wasn't necessarily, I've been on school boards, I received all the things. That wasn't fun, but that was more so a light response for me as well. It's like, keep me out your group message, because that was actually funny. And in the moment, because we were going to talk about the game as to what I was having a conversation with about. But final score: FAMU 43, Southern University 35. Initial thoughts on our performance on Saturday.
Much better performance. But, my expectations are so low at this point. Like, anything just makes me like, okay, hey, they played better. All right, good job. But it was a better performance. It was obvious to Derek's question. Derek, if you could put that back up there for me. Derek wanted to know, question any truth to the rumor that it's not a rumor. I'm the one who put it out there publicly. It's not a rumor.
Very factual.
Yeah, it's not a rumor, Derek. I'm actually the person who broke the story. So no, that's not a rumor. That's pretty much what got him out the door. Now, they've denied that. The people involved Saturday, I must say this, because as being that having some integrity and journalistic integrity, they have denied that. At least one person involved, Coach Mark Fredericks, has denied that. I must say that. I must report that. He has vehemently denied that. But I've heard from multiple sources, reliable sources, that the story is accurate, and I have witnessed myself some other things and talked to a couple of other people who have witnessed some similar things. So, yeah, it is what it is, but it didn't have to be that way. But as a matter of fact, as evidence, this game pretty much proved the point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's the beautiful part about sports in general. Like, you can own, or anything in life really, you can only hide certain aspects for so long. Eventually they show themselves fruitful, one way or the other. And I think for me, which is, to your point, like, I don't have any grand expectations. I try not to have them anyway, but there was just a different team offensively on the side. Like it just was different. Like it was different on Saturday, and it wasn't about more so about FAMU and who or what they may or don't have this season, but it was just a caliber of awareness. Like it's like they actually prepared and understood what to be on the field and like all the things that that we've been asking for all season. So I mean, to your question, Derek, I'll give my last $2 to say that it's no longer, it's not a rumor, it's very factual.
Last $2.
You can see what that was. But I mean, so shout out to the folks who got the team prepared to play. I wish that we were on the other end of it, where I was seen in a different state, was when we did not go for it on 4th and 1, and I feel like that's been the story of our game for a lot of games this season. With 7 minutes left in the game, we didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and as opposed to us going for it, giving ourselves a chance when we're averaging 3 to 4 yards per carry, under 7 minutes and 36 seconds, I think, was on the clock. I already knew that once we gave FAMU ball, 2 things were going to happen. They're going to run out the clock, but they were going to go score again, and then the game was going to be out of reach. And that's exactly what happened. And so that was what was captured. I was fussing with a FAMU fan because I had just told her, I said, watch what's going to happen. And when it happened, she looked back at me like, I'm like, I told it. So that's what was captured.
Yeah, and I understood it from both sides. It's 7 minutes left in the game. We're going to punt the ball, put them back in bad field, put them back deep in their territory, play defense, and try to get the ball back. I understood from
but did it all year.
But I understood from Coach McNair's thinking what he was thinking. But I also understood too that this is a team that hadn't necessarily been able to do it all year, but then they hadn't scored 30-something points all year either. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't done a lot of things in that game that they had done all year. But then we get the circumstances, we get the terrible punt from my man Kenny Pham, and Florida A&M gets the ball back in great field position. And the truth is, the defense is so bad, not because they're not a good defense, not nearly the defense that we've seen before, but we have a bunch of guys, key guys out injured. Mike Jones is out injured. Horatio is out injured. Somebody else is out. So we have Eric Reed is out with an injury. We have some key guys. The heart and soul of the defense is Horatio. And Horatio has been out for the last 3 weeks, and it's shown on defense because we can't stop anybody when we need to. Horatio is that guy who gets everybody in position. He knows the defense. He gets the best out of what it is. And Mike Jones was just starting to come into his own as a linebacker. We were just getting our linebacking core sorted to the point where they were serviceable. And then Mike Jones gets injured and he's out. So the defense is struggling. If it had been me, I understood both sides, but I probably would have been like, look, man, we 1-7 or 1-6. Hell, line up with the jumbo package and let's go get this first down. If not, oh well.
I mean, the level of desperation, I think that's what I'll be at too. Unless we on the 1 inch mark line, 10 and above, we going for it. Because I mean, we just have shown consistently that let's say it was 15 minutes or the quarter had just started, I can understand it. But when you get to like that middle of a quarter and down by 1, like I think the entire momentum changed, because we had just said like what it's going to come down to is the last team who has the ball is who's going to win this game, because neither defense has shown that they're able to stop. I mean, we were running push tushes and all kind of things that I think that in that moment, and I'll be interested. I know Coach McNair briefly talked about it, but I'll be interested tomorrow during the coaches show to see, if things could be done differently. But I'm proud of the team. I mean, look, listen, we haven't had much to clap for, cheer for, think about this entire season. So to be as competitive as we were, and not win the game, but I applaud the effort. That's what I got. I applaud that.
Yes. And you know what I applaud? I applaud our sponsors.
Yes.
That's what I applaud. I applaud our sponsors. Let's go to the Pat McGee Law Firm. Our proud sponsor, Pat McGee. Patrick McGee Law Firm, 700 St. John Street, Suite 500, Lafayette, Louisiana, 337-476-2433. It's a Patrick McGee Law Firm. Pat is a great friend of the show and a great sponsor. alumnus of the Southern University Law Center and a good friend of mine. It's the Patrick McGee Law Firm, Lafayette, Homer, Baton Rouge. If you need a lawyer, get in touch with Pat McGee. Pat McGee Law Firm on Facebook, www.mcgeefirm.com, 337-476-2433. Patrick McGee Law Firm, a proud sponsor of Inside the Game. And the Southern University College of Agriculture Center, the Southern University Agriculture Center, Southern University agcenter.com, 225-771-2272. The Southern University Agricultural Center doing great work over there. They can help you with a lot of things. They can help you if you're planting a garden and you need some tips on how to help it grow and stay healthy. They sweet potatoes. They sell meat over there. You can go get great sweet potatoes and great vegetables. You can go to, you can do a whole lot. You can get into ag econ. You can become it's a lot of things you can do. And the Southern University Agricultural Center, they help people stop smoking. There are so many things they do for the community. Check out the suagcenter.com, the Southern University Agricultural Center, 225-771-2272. Shout out to Dr. Orlando McMeans and Dr. Katera Allen.
Williams.
I'm sorry. My bad. Katera Williams.
That's my girl. I just found out actually that Pat McGee is cousins with one of my really good friends. She was like, Pat is this fun? I was like, yeah, Pat, been inside the game since the beginning. But yeah, so didn't win the game. We're much competitive. Playing UAPB this weekend. Before we go to some other swag highlights and scores, let me just tell y'all that the AI is the funniest thing ever. Like, there was just an announcement on Facebook that said that NBA YoungBoy and Webby were the new coaches of LSU football, and so you have not seen that AI.
Savage Life.
Savage
Life and Massa. Slime
image.
Life and Savage Life coming together. I guess the defense is gonna be Savage Life. The offense will be Slime Life.
Man,
be Slime.
listen, I will put on the LSU shirt. You hear me? I will make America slime again. But no, so playing UAPB this weekend. Any predictions, expectations of what this weekend will be before we get to some highlights and recaps from last week?
I think if we're healthy enough, I think we may actually go and beat Pine Bluff. I'm not sure on that. Yeah, I've seen Pine Bluff play and I've seen us play, and it's really kind of a toss-up. So I'm honest. I don't know. Like I have, like I said, my expectations are so low with this team. I hope we go in and beat Pine Bluff, but I really, honestly, I can't give you a feel for it. If I had to pick, it's on Pine Bluff's home field. I would go with Pine Bluff if I had to pick.
Well, I hope that we finally get this right. I have no expectations either. But if you are in Arkansas, in the Arkansas area, we'll be in Pine Bluff this weekend. The University of Arkansas has now formulated and initiated a new chapter of Southern University alumni. So they will be having a tailgate next week. So if you're in Arkansas, live in Arkansas, plan to attend the game, stop by, give them kudos for all of their success at building out a new alumni chapter in the state of Arkansas. It's the first one there, chartered it, and they are now officially up and running in business as a part of the federation. So if you're in Arkansas, stop by, say hi. I will be there. So come by, say hi to the people in Arkansas. But as we think about last week, there was a really good game on last week. And before we get into your commentary post game, I think I have a little clips queued up of your pregame predictions about what was going to happen Saturday in Las Vegas. Run that tape.
Okay, so you don't see Jackson State losing to Bethune, but you seen them losing to Grambling Mall?
I just feel like Grambling gonna pull it off, man. This is what the G does. This is what Grambling does. Las Vegas, Grambling, the shot BB band on the field, all of that. This is exactly what Grambling does, man. I'm telling you.
I'm not in the business of calling you a liar, but I'm just saying it's funny the way you're saying it.
I'm just saying, man, this is what Grambling does, man. I've been following Grambling as long as I've been following Southern. This is the perfect theatrical moment for Grambling to pull the upset. National TV in Las Vegas, The Grambling Knights are there. Poncho
West
Glover,
Coast presence. Yeah, I was gonna say that. The West Coast presence. Yeah.
Poncho Glover got parties going on all over town. Man, I'm telling you, everybody from Tallulah and Delhi and Monroe gonna show up because everybody in Las Vegas is from, every black person in Las Vegas is from North Louisiana, actually. I don't know if y'all know that, but every black person in North Louisiana, in Las Vegas that works at the casinos and stuff, they're from North Louisiana. They're going to be there in droves. I'm telling you, the Grambling crowd is going to probably be 2-1 over Jackson State because every black person in Vegas is from North Louisiana. They're either from Tallulah, Delhi, Monroe, Turkey Creek, they from somewhere in North Louisiana. So I just think the G gonna pull it off. I just got a feeling.
Well, two things you were right about, huh? First, we will talk about Grambling showed up. Their fan base showed up, and those people from Delhi, Tallulah, Monroe, and everywhere else, they were present.
Vegas is full of North Louisiana people. Vegas is full of North Louisiana people, not to mention the people coming from LA. Gang of them out there.
So proud to see that Grambling showed up in the way that they did, because we often joke about Grambling not showing up, but they showed up in big ways. And in addition to showing up in big ways in attendance and showing up and showing out, Grambling won the game. You predicted it. Now tell us your post-game thoughts, feelings, and how was Grambling able to pull off what is the biggest upset of the SWAC season thus far?
Well, what a part of what didn't make that clip was I gave the reason is Grambling does something that not many schools can do with Jackson State, and they've always done it. We did it back in the 90s and early 2000s, and then later they match Jackson State's physicality. Jackson State tries to come out and intimidate you and play physical with you. They've always done that. That's always been their MO. Their TC Taylor has just gone back to what has always been their MO. Grambling has always had success against them because they've always been able to match them physically. When Southern had success against Jackson State, it's because Southern could match their physicality. I knew Grambling would be able to do that in terms of personnel. The question for me was T-Set going to be healthy? By the way, prayers up for Xavier and T-Set for sure. We've had some very limited reports on, as they say, he's in good spirits, but prayers up for him. That was a scary, scary play, and I hope that he fully recovers from that. So before we go any further, I want to say that.
Yep, thank you for sharing that. And there has been some reports that he suffered a concussion as well as a neck fracture. But to your point, good spirits. And there's reports that he's in good spirits and that he should be coming home soon or something to that point.
Shouts out to his mom too.
Yeah,
shouts out to his mom because she gave that hell of a speech when she was leaving off the field.
I got him. Y'all go finish hell of it, and they did.
Yeah. I'm telling you, she lucky he transferred because Uncle ain't know her before then. Uncle like that kind of spiciness.
That is crazy, and she was that spicy when he was at Southern. I love
like that kind of spiciness right there. Y'all go get this ish. I got him. Y'all go get this ish. Finish it. I think that was the quote.
that was the quote, and they did just that, and I can hear it coming from her. She has been that. But shout out to Zay, wishing him nothing but the best in the speedy recovery.
For sure. But to my point, it was if T-Set was healthy, Grambling was going to have a chance because they would match Jackson State physically. And when T-Set was healthy, they matched them physically, and they were able to beat Jackson State. And I wasn't surprised by that. By the way, I just want to say, just to give myself a little pat on the back. Not only did I call that, I was undefeated in the SWAC this week. All of my picks were right. Every last one of them, from top to bottom, I was right. All of my picks in the SWAC were right.
It's about time, Unc.
Yeah. Well, when I put my
your head and your heart,
when I really put my heart and soul into it, and I get serious about it, I'm actually pretty good at picking these games. I'm actually pretty good at this football thing, but I don't hardly put my heart and soul into it, especially when the Jaguars, But when I just take the Jaguar glasses off and pick it, like I picked FAMU to beat us because there was no reason that FAMU shouldn't have beat us because they had a better athletes and better team. We're just not a very good team. The tricky one was Valley and Alcorn, but I knew Alcorn wasn't good. At this point in the season, Valley is what it is. Alcorn wasn't going to let them come into Jack Spinks
and
to Spinks Chasm and beat them like that. But yeah, but that game, you know, that Jackson State Grambling game, I just felt like it was a perfect scenario for Grambling to once again upset Jackson's. I wouldn't even call it an upset because Grambling has regularly put it on Jackson State in head-to-head matches. If you look at the series, Grambling to Jackson State is what Southern is to Prairie View. Every now and then they'll come up and beat us. Prairie View come up and beat us, and they'll swear that they run everything. It's kind of that same relationship. Grambling has dominated Jackson State, and I know the Jackson State people are going to get real mad at me, and they'll probably try to get personal because that's what they do. And nobody over there, see, I have to just say this. I'm a little like, you know, Jackson State, it is what it is. Their fan base and everything. But at least like in other fan bases, if somebody gets out of line in other fan bases, like if somebody from Southern talks crazy, other people from Southern will say, hey, man, you don't represent us. No, we don't do that. Other schools do that. You know, the only school who doesn't do that when that, like on social media and stuff, when their fans say something out of line, really out of line, only school who doesn't do that is Jackson State. They just get quiet and they let that person do and say anything. And I'm gonna have to say this. I have to say this because I've been holding this back, and I'm just gonna take this opportunity to say it. There is no way that a grown man should be from any school in this conference, especially a black man, should be making a 10 or 11-year-old, however old, the butt of jokes just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
And I when they did that to that young man at Southern, I held my tongue because I couldn't get in touch with the person because I wanted to tell them personally. But I called them and they won't answer their phone. They won't return my call. So Rob J, that was some BS, and you should never do that again, bro. That's beneath you. Yeah. That's beneath you, Rob J. To make a 10-year-old or 12-year-old, I think the little boy was 10 or 11, to make him the butt of jokes just for kicks and giggles, that's foul. And it's beneath you. You are a Hall of Fame broadcaster. Literally, you got a SWAC red jacket. You are a Hall of Fame broadcaster. That is beneath you. I don't care what it is. I'm the biggest Southern fan in the world. I would never do that to a 10 or 11-year-old kid because he rooted for Jackson State. It's foul. And if you had answered my phone calls and my texts, I would have told you that to your face. But since you didn't, I'll tell you that publicly.
Yeah.
Rob J.
Rob J, you heard it here first. Is calling y'all. No, I think there are moments where those groups and those folks in those groups, like, they go way below the belt. And I've had to like correct people several times when things are like just out on, because like to your point, like I'm going to speak for Southern, speak in support of Southern until there's no end. But like some of that stuff is just like utterly ridiculous. And I'm glad that you called out that foolery, because at the end of the day, we all started in this in some kind of capacity. And I was once a 10-year-old, like thinking that there was nothing greater than Southern, and like just the idea to make that the center of your gravity and your attention is unfortunate, to say the least. And so yeah, and so one of the questions going into that game, one of the questions that has came up from that, and because at one point Grambling was like running away with the game, it was like 23-10, and they had ball in possession to like really to go forward. But one of the questions that were in this thing from Christopher Turner asks, can we win the Bayou Classic? And I think that you just like kind of made reference to how these things go. Like when in those rivalry games, I've seen a Southern team, to your point, come in with 2 wins and play a 9-1 Grambling team, and then we all looking like, what has team been all this time? Where y'all been all season? So yes, the answer to in my point of view, yes, we can win the Bayou Classic, because in a rivalry game you throw out records, and the team is going to show up in ways that we haven't seen them show up for themselves, for the rivalry of what it is. And so I'm looking forward to, no matter the records, that there's Bayou Classic is going to be Bayou Classic.
Yeah, and like you said, the Bayou Classic is a different thing, and what happens in situations like the Bayou Classic, the teams are pretty much evenly matched, and the reason one team is losing or winning is a lot of times has to do with healthy players and available players. And usually around Bayou Classic time, everybody gets healthy. All the players get healthy for the Bayou Classic.
Correct.
So they're full teams, so they're evenly matched. And then it comes down to just who wants it more, whose coaches are going to show up, because everybody's going to be on their P's and Q's for the Classic. And that's why Southern and Grambling, they play each other so tough. You know, these are kids who played against each other in high school, coaches who have coached and played against each other in high school a lot of times. So the Bayou Classic is always going to be a winnable game. Not saying that we're going to win it, but of course it's a winnable game because Grambling is not an unbeatable team. They should have lost to Kentucky State. They very well could have lost to who is that? Texas, East Texas A&M or whoever. They could have lost it, and that was another game. I think So Grambling is not a great team, but they just happen to match up well with Jackson State.
Yeah,
and always do.
That's the beauty of college football because you go from being at a point to where you should have lost to a Division II Kentucky State to the point to where you beat the number one team going into that weekend in the SWAC, FCS ranked, like all of the things. So it's really week to week. And the question from Justin is, who do you give the edge to the most for the Bayou Classic? And I think that changes week to week. Right now, you have to give the edge to Grambling. They just beat the number one team in the conference. They're coming off of a high, but they also lost their starting quarterback in that same situation. And from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like T-Set is going to play again this season. I hope that's not true, but from the looks of the injury and the sustainability of the injury, it doesn't look like he's gonna. It seems like he's going to be done for the year. So today you have to give the edge to Grambling because we shown progress Saturday, but we haven't shown anything that would put for anybody to predict us to beat anybody. Like we should probably be the team picked to lose every game out. So right now, for me, I give the edge to Grambling going into the Bayou Classic today. But of course, that changes, and we just talked about the rivalry game situation.
Yes. Yeah. So, I would give the edge to Grambling, but I don't know. I don't know if I get an edge. I would give them, hey, they come off an upset. And if the Bayou Classic was next week, I would pick Southern because just the fact that Grambling, like you said, T-Set was hurt. And they were coming off a big win in Vegas. Bayou Classic if it was next week, I would say Southern was going to win because of the situation. But, by the time we get down to the end of November, which can't get here fast enough, who knows?
Right, and I think neither team. Well, and I mean, we've been consistently bad this season, but Grambling hasn't. After they've won big games or won a game, they haven't shown that level of consistency throughout the game. And so it'll be interesting for our Bayou Classic show to have some of the Grambling folks who follow them on here, just to have conversations around just the state of the programs and teams. Because just last week, I literally said this today on social media. Just last week, Grambling was in the same U-Haul company as us. Like I was in line at 1, and they was number 2.
That's right. They were packing up Mickey's U-Haul too. So
they was ready to get Mickey's U-Haul. So and
by the way, if there's anybody out there who would like to sponsor our Bayou Classic special, reach out. Get in touch with Coach Melle or Uncle Flood. You can sponsor our Bayou Classic special. Become a proud action sponsor of Inside the Game. You can hit me up, Uncle Flood, or you can hit Coach Melle up, and we'll work it out. Let's become a sponsor of the show.
Yes. We love sponsorship. We love our viewership. We love you guys for being here.
Yes.
All of the wonderful things. And so in our last 5 minutes before we get out of here tonight, thank you guys again. Visit our website at Inside the Game. You see we have a scrolling box like ESPN. You can see all the ways to sponsor the show, the websites, etc. But we do have some games coming up this weekend, and so I will go ahead and do our picks, and then we'll briefly catch over some NFL stuff, and then we'll be out of here. First game, Mississippi Valley State and Bethune-Cookman. That game is being played in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Bethune-Cookman all day, every day.
Alcorn State and Texas Southern.
Ooh, I'm going to go Texas Southern. They play defense.
Yeah, Texas Southern has been we have to see them again.
Yes.
I think I'll skip that one because that's probably going to be the game of the week. Alabama A&M and Grambling.
Alabama A&M and Grambling. Oh, man, both of those teams are injured. Where are they playing?
They're playing in Grambling.
I'm going to go. I got to go. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna go with Grambling because it's the home field. If Alabama, I don't know what Alabama A&M's injury report back because their quarterback has been out the last 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if he's going to be back. Well, that's a hard one to pick because I don't have all the information on that.
That's going to be an interesting game. And yeah, Grambling has played some really tight games at home, and then with a new regime per se, with another quarterback potentially starting, that's going to be an interesting game to say the least.
And it's hard to pick A&M because they always let you down.
Yeah, they do, but they also do. I think they may have beat Grambling the last time they played them in Grambling.
Yeah, they do A&M things though. I just can't trust them. It's hard to pick that game.
Shout out to Pam Briggs, my A&M bestie.
Shout out to Dr. DeRicka.
Screaming. We talked about Southern Arkansas, but do you want to take an official pick? Southern Arkansas, Pine Bluff, because Arkansas, I wouldn't be there for that game.
Jeez, man, I have to think about it, but my head says go with Arkansas Pine Bluff. In Pine Bluff,
that's a tough place to place, even with a good team, and so
yeah, because it's gonna be like 50 people there in the M4. It's gonna be 50 people in M4 in the stands.
50 in M4, the new Arkansas chapter, Coach Melle. And we're gonna do our part. We always do.
Y'all gonna have about 38 people on the bus, the Arkansas chapter. No cheerleaders.
We're gonna have 100. We're gonna have 100.
Y'all gonna have 2 buses?
So not quarterback club. 6-man club has a bus. There's another travel group that has a bus to every home game. Every away game. And then the Arkansas chapter, me and my 5 friends, I think, are gonna be making this trip. So we're gonna have 100. We're gonna be at 100.
Yeah. Okay. 110, 110.
That's all you need for Pine Bluff.
Yeah. And about 50 Pine Bluff fans, 50 or 60 Pine Bluff fans, because they gonna have their U-Haul out if they coach, regardless of whether for their coach. Yeah. And M4. Who knows what M4 stands for?
I don't know.
The marching musical machine. No, the marching musical machine of the Mid-South.
Now, one fun fact about UAPB that I love every time I think about it is the fact that their golden line, like spells
mascot, it spells out UAPB.
That is the most amazing thing that I learned. I learned that the last time we went there.
Oh yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I've known that for a while. That I learned that about 15 years ago when I also learned about the marching musical machine of the Mid-South, M4.
That is good. We marched in with the M4 last time we went there. Okay, Jackson State and FAMU. That game is in Tallahassee at 6:00 sharp. That should be a good one.
Jackson State without their quarterback.
Going into Bragg after a win against Southern, they're going to be fired up.
Jackson State without their quarterback. I believe Jackson State finds a way to win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if FAM won. But I feel like Jackson State, I feel like the defense takes on some extra responsibility, the leadership, so they find a way to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if FAM won this game. But I'm going to go with Jackson State in this game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. And that game is going to be an ESPN Plus.
A lot better than people think.
Yeah, a lot better than people think. SWAC game of the week, I would call Alabama State in Prairie View. A potential preview of the SWAC championship.
Alabama State about the dog walk Prairie View, man. That's not going to be a good game. That's about the dog walk Prairie View. There is such a gap, a chasm between those two teams in terms of ability and coaching and all. Man, they're all Alabama State about the dog walk them boys.
Dang, PV. Well, I didn't say all that, but I do think Alabama State is going to win because at one point in the season, I was marking this on my calendar for like, where Alabama State beat Prairie View, we're going to be number 1 in the West. That's not the case anymore, but obviously, Alabama State will be paying close attention to that Jackson State and FAMU game because with the win or with Gremlin's win over Jackson last week, if FAMU finds a way to beat Jackson State, Alabama State is back in the driver's seat of a SWAC championship. So that is all wonderful, dandy.
Well, I shouldn't say that they're going to dog walk them. It's actually going to be a pretty good football. I like to tease Prairie View, but it's actually going to be a pretty good football game. Prairie View does some things that, they play some kind of unconventional on defense. I just feel like Andrew Body will be the difference in the game. It's hard to stop Andrew Body, man.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a season. So with that, that's 7:00. And it has been great to spend another hour with you guys. We look forward to being back here next Monday, hopefully with some better news about our Southern University Jaguars. But Take us out of here.
Well, if the man upstairs says the same, we'll be back at the same time, the same place. Because as always, we'll take you inside the